Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Staking Mondays. We are live with a special Christmas edition of Staking Mondays. My name is Ken. I'm with co-founder of Staking Rewards, Merkel Schmiedel, and we are delighted to welcome today's guest, Edouard of Stakin. He's the founder of Stakin, which is a staking provider and operating proof-of-stake nodes since 2018. So welcome, Edouard, and let's jump right into it. First, we'd like you to, be very quick with these answers. This is sort of a lightning round. So which was your first crypto investment outside of BTC and Ethereum?
Hello, guys. Tezos. Do I have to give details or?
No, that's perfect. Thanks a lot. So which was the person that inspired you the most during your crypto journey?
Sorry, can you repeat?
What was the person that inspired you the most during your full crypto journey?
Vitalik Buterin.
Okay, common. We're seeing that answer pop up. And what's the most inspiring proof of stake protocol?
So far, Cosmos.
Cool. And what's your favorite crypto podcast?
Staking Mondays.
Heck yeah. And when's the last time you checked your crypto portfolio?
An hour ago.
Of course, that makes sense. And the last one, a bit personal, like which destination are you planning to traveling to next?
Uruguay.
That's cool. Amazing. So yeah, very good. Let's jump into like a bit more questions on the proof of stake market and about your business as well. So let's start with like how do you find new protocols to run validator nodes for when you consider like starting operations on a new protocol? How do you find them? How do you get in touch with them? Do you get pitched, or like do you go out, research them, find them? How does that work for you?
That's a pretty good question. So it's typically a mix of two things. So on one hand of the spectrum, we have some clients with whom we work and some institutional clients, and very often we may get some inbound requests to support a protocol as a staking provider and offer staking services on it, in which case we're going to explore the protocol and the opportunity. And on the other end, our team, we're always consistently looking at the overall protocols, proof of stake market, new opportunities, new technologies being developed. And it's a very progressive process. We do not have like an exact framework and score sheet that some may have, but yeah, we'll typically like to get involved early on the protocols and take part in test nets and have a feel at the community, at the technology, try things out, learn how things work, and this kind of enables us to take a progressive decision towards, are we going to support it when mainnet arrives, or are we going to keep supporting that testnet, or are we just not going to support it further? So yeah, two approaches. One, clients requesting to provide staking services on protocols that we may not support yet, and two, like a more of a VC approach, where we're going to evaluate the tech, the protocol, and decide, okay, let's launch on it, and hopefully we'll get some traction and some delegators, potentially institutionals or retail or whoever.
And I like the fact that you actually do listen to clients and will make adjustments based on their feedback as well. You don't see that a lot in this space, so that's cool to see. And how do you evaluate protocols to run validator nodes for? What are the different considerations here?
Okay. Well, we mostly look at, I guess, the technology and the economics. So, is the protocol, actually solving a problem? Is there going to be demand for such protocol? Is it something that makes sense? Is it stable enough? Is it secure? Who's building it? And also, like in terms of economics, well, we like to supporting a protocol is like making an investment, and we have fixed costs in terms of human resources and employees and servers and infrastructure. And ideally, we'd like to cover those fixed costs at least. Although sometimes we do offer promotions, and sometimes we do have like periods where we lower the fees to kind of please our delegator community and potentially attract more delegators. Yeah, we like to have something that makes sense as a validator.
Very cool. And then, is there any protocol that you are super excited about currently, and like why are you excited about it?
So right now, I'm very excited about decentralized bridges, because we do have like some interesting interoperability ecosystems that have emerged with Cosmos on one hand and all the Tendermint-based blockchains. Then we have like Polkadot and the Substrate-based blockchains where everybody can share data and value between blockchains. Yet we still have too many interesting layer ones or ecosystems that are siloed from each other. Like the EVM ecosystem doesn't necessarily speak with the Cosmos ecosystem, doesn't necessarily speak with the Solana one. And right now we're seeing a lot of interesting bridges that have enabled so far users to transfer value and sometimes data between these blockchains and ecosystems. However, like a lot of these bridges so far are still centralized. And one of the two networks that we're excited about right now in decentralized bridge space are dBridge, which is going to be a decentralized bridge solution to help connect all these different blockchains together, EVM, Solana, Cosmos, in the future, and Gravity Bridge that is more focused on Cosmos and Ethereum EVM ecosystem. And I think these decentralized bridges are super important because, well, they offer more security to the user. Ideally, they have less single point of failures. A lot of the bridges being run out there right now is whether like some multi-sig or sometimes there's somebody who has the key and we don't even know who it is. It's almost like a centralized exchange. There's not much transparency, and actually there's a lot of funds at risks, and because there's lots of funds locked in these bridges, they are actually like very interesting targets for potential attacks. And yeah, we really need to work all together on decentralized bridges solution. I think dBridge and Gravity Bridge and more bridges merging, like Wormhole, all bridges, they're very interesting protocols to explore right now.
Yeah, and I just want to follow up on that with you, Edward. So obviously the bridges get you very excited for interoperability, but what's like one main use case that you see coming out of these bridges that have been developed over the last few years?
I think the use case will be to abstract kind of the blockchain experience, although I like it, but to abstract that blockchain experience for a lot of the end users, because as soon as this blockchain can start to communicate with each other, you remove a lot of challenges around value and data transmission, and dApps, they're able to also use these bridges, and they're able to use like different blockchains for different applications. So you have like a lot of application-specific blockchains that are emerging and that are going to emerge in the future, and that really kind of help the whole scalability aspects of blockchains. And a user would be able to use any kind of decentralized application without like worrying too much about like the whole experience of the gas fees or interacting with different blockchains. Everything might just be seamless, in a few months or a few years.
Yeah, thanks for diving into some more detail there. I know some of our users may be excited for a bridge they may potentially use to cross their collateral to a different chain. Possibilities are endless. We're still so new in the space here. Now, are you doing any kind of investments at Stakin as well? And what are your considerations when making an investment?
So at Staking, we've recently developed our investment arm a bit more. We used to do personal investments with some of the team members investing into protocols that we like, and now the company itself invests in early blockchain protocols, very small amounts, because we're a bootstrapped staking provider. So typically up to $100,000, and yeah, we invest so up to $100,000 in like protocols where we see ourselves potentially operating or adding value as an infrastructure provider. So far we haven't invested, for example, in decentralized applications, but really only on infrastructure related projects and proof of stake blockchains or bridges, this kind of projects. And typically, yeah, one of the criteria is, are we able to bring value? So that's going to be something that has some synergy with our expertise. And then it's more or less the same approach as when we start to support a network. Is like, do we like the team? Do we like the technology? We think it solves a problem? And do we want to hold that cryptocurrency for the long term? I would say, yeah, our approach is not strictly like VC based or not short termist, but it's more like the one of a strategic partner where we won't be like one of the large coin holders because we're a bootstrap staking provider, but we want to add value and we want to kind of invest in that coin for quite a few years, right?
Cool. That makes a lot of sense. And so are you concerned at all about consolidation in the staking as a service sector? Thinking about like acquisitions in the market of like staking providers getting bought up by big institutions or others. Is that something, do you think it could lead to like, yeah, some kind of bad decentralization, or what's your take on that?
In terms of like acquisitions and market, I feel like everything is very buoyant right now. There are a lot of different kind of players, ranging from exchanges to mining company to hedge funds, who are looking to get a strategic exposure or acquire staking providers, because yeah, staking is here to stay, I think, and it's just probably likely gonna be the main consensus algorithm in the next few years or potentially few months once the merge happen on Ethereum. So there may be some kind of slight consolidation that will happen, but I'm not so worried about like potential acquisitions. I haven't seen, for example, a lot of staking provider buying each other's. So far, I've seen more like strategic players buying staking providers, and in which case, well, there are synergies, and they are able to, let's say, increase the assets under delegation after buying that provider. But yet, they're not buying, the voting power of another provider, and they're not like just aggregating all the voting power of smaller providers to get to like that critical point where they would own like so much voting power in the network that they will end up owning it. But there is some kind of consolidation. I think networks are somehow decentralized. A lot of networks are getting more decentralized. Some are getting slightly less, and there are probably more concerns around still around like custodian custodial service providers that do have a lot of voting power, and they can control this voting power, and sometimes they can choose whether to delegate to one of their partner nodes. Could be like a giant staking providers like Coinbase, Bison Trails, or Blockdaemon, or they can make the choice to decentralize their voting power and choose like, I don't know, 10 or 5 serious but smaller staking providers, and earn exactly the same yield, if not better, because sometimes we've seen that smaller staking providers are much more dedicated to their work and infrastructure. So yeah, the concentration right now is probably still mostly around like, okay, the exchanges, the custodians that have to remain as agnostic as possible, and starting to emerge also with more like decentralized kind of liquid staking solutions.
Yeah, and another way to help promote decentralization with providers is to educate the users. And there's all kinds of stakers out there that have various levels of knowledge. So, what would you recommend to the stakers when they consider choosing a staking provider? What should they look out for?
Well, on any network where stakers consider like choosing a staking provider, there are like resources built in on the network that they can use for the due diligence process. And yeah, just a few Google search or asking a question on Discord can easily point them towards these resources. So have a look at the Explorer. Sometimes in addition to the Explorer, there's nice third-party tools like Staking Rewards website or validator dashboard specific to the protocol, where they can have a look at the staking providers and okay, how much voting power is already allocated to them, what's their uptime, what is their involvement in governance, and it's basically public information, right? The whole history is on chain, it stays there, and it's best to decentralize among a few providers, kind of diversify your stake among a few providers that you would trust with good uptime, good involvement in governance, and why not take a look at like the projects that they've built also on the blockchain. I know it's hard. The due diligence part is very hard because sometimes you hold 50 different coins or 20 different coins and you want to stake, and you arrive on these pages and there's like 200 different validators. And you're like, who am I going to choose? What's happening? So a lot of users, they tend to just go for the first one, which makes sense because it looks like it's the most trusted one. But actually, further down the list, you have a lot of very good providers as well. And it's hard. It's very hard to kind of make that decision to help contribute decentralize the set, but it's really in the interest of the network.
Cool. And so how do you think will the staking market overall look like in the future? Like, will investors still have to choose their staking providers at all, kind of, or will it all be aggregated with like, kind of liquid staking solutions or like other kind of aggregators which delegate for you, kind of, so you don't even have to do those decisions anymore? Like, how do you think will that play out, like, going forward?
I think we're gonna see a mix of both. Liquid staking is somehow the future of staking, and aggregators too. They're gonna keep growing, and they're gonna keep growing to a very large market share of the staking market. And while liquid staking providers are very good at doing the due diligence for you and actually decentralizing their own validator set, and some do it algorithmically, sometimes delegating to hundreds of validators, so that they're very good at it. Yet it's kind of a winner take all the market, and they also tend to attract a lot of the voting power for themselves and attract liquidity and voting power. And on each network, you tend to see like one leading liquid staking provider that then has a lot of voting power. So liquid staking is going to be here in the future. Aggregators as well, because as a small, especially like smaller token holders, doing the due diligence work is very hard. And liquid staking, in addition to doing the due diligence for you, offers like clear benefits in terms of having your coins liquid, but also like being able to generate extra yield. Sometimes they drop you one of their own coins on top of your staking reward. Sometimes you can use this for yield farming and earn like even a higher yield while still earning staking rewards. Yet it adds another layer of risk, and it adds another layer of fees. And what I'm seeing with a lot of institutional providers, especially, is they have like a strong interest both for like risk-related reason or fee-related reason. A lot of them still are more interested into like direct staking. It's a strategy, but if managed well, it kind of can be cheaper in terms of fees, and also like there's less risk. So when playing with like third party and clients' money, it's something to take into consideration. But others are also looking at liquid staking because, well, there are advantages in it that are very clear. So I think we're looking at a market where, I mean, just like in finance, you have funds and funds of funds and funds of funds of funds. Staking might just like evolve in that direction. And sometimes some users will select to elect directly their staking providers. Some others would prefer funds of funds, and some others will probably go for like the funds of funds of funds of funds approach, right? and at the end, it really depends to the user and the client what's best for them, and can depend on their strategy, on how much assets they have, and how much like risks they're willing to accept.
Yeah, and it seems like there's a lot of risk and advantage to both liquid staking and directly staking as a validator that needs to be weighed when making these considerations. And I couldn't help but laugh when you said fund of funds and fund of funds, because we just introduced the SR20, which is an index of liquid staking assets, essentially, when you boil it down. So it seems like it is heading in that direction. But now, getting back into risk. So what would you think is a major risk for proof of stake and the staking industry in general? Considering we're still very early and the market cap of the entire staking industry is just barely the size of the Bitcoin market cap. What do you think is the major risk that this industry faces?
I think one potential risk is still around like decentralization. It depends on like the blockchains and networks, and some are more centralized than others. Some are more decentralized. So there are some networks where you have like a few players that control a lot of voting power, and essentially these players if it's like staking providers, if they are down, then it can impact the network. But if it's like another like layer, it also like concentrates a lot of risks in a few hands. Then you have the regulations too, where I mean, we've seen in the US recently that there's no clear qualifications for like infrastructure provider around the blockchain space, and like they even like trying to implement some rules at the regulatory level that may not make sense at all for infrastructure providers. So, but these regulations, they're also more like of a geographical risk, because then staking providers, they're almost like miners, and probably even more, they can still move around countries in case the ecosystem is not favorable enough. So yeah, I mean, there are risks around decentralization, but that's like a permanent fight. Risks on regulation, but it's also a permanent fight. I mean, the staking market and staking industry is here to stay. Now it has proven to be resilient enough. It has proven to do its job, at least like for proof of stake protocols, where the consensus are run more efficiently than proof of work, and didn't have like major failures over these past years. At least on large market cap and like solid protocols. So I think like there are a few risks. Experimentally, it's always about like building and improving and iterating. But yeah, it's here to stay. So nothing major.
Cool. Yeah. I mean, I definitely think so as well. Even there are still a lot of obstacles we have to overcome. It's definitely here to stay, and everything is more like a challenge than an actual problem, from what I see at least. And I mean, that's definitely also the reason why so many protocols are moving to proof of stake. Like not just like the new protocols, like everything new is like launched on some sort of proof of stake, and like even like a Zcash moving to proof of stake is quite exciting. So do you think there's a future for proof of work at all? And what would be like the different value proposition for like a proof of work chain, for example, opposed to proof of stake?
Well, I'm more of a proof of stake guy. So proof of work, I haven't followed the latest developments, and like if there's a future at all. But I think, yeah, the whole industry is moving towards proof of stake. It's much more efficient. It brings a lot of advantages for new protocols or existing one to move to proof of stake. But proof of work is also a proven model, and you can't stop proof of work. You can't stop people from mining. It's very resilient, and there'll be protocols like Bitcoin that won't move to proof of stake, and they still have miners, and there will still be proof of work. So yeah, there's future in both in some way. There's future in hybrid approaches too. But yeah, the future I want to see being built is definitely the one of proof of stake, which is much more sustainable, fairer, more efficient, brings on a lot of features like decentralized governance that is not so much present in a lot of proof of work protocols. But we can't stop people from mining. So there'll still be proof of work around for decades. But yeah, the future is all about staking, I hope.
Yeah, and I wonder the day that we would see Bitcoin switch over to proof of stake. What would it take at this point, really? Interesting to kind of think about. But at Stakin, what other services do you offer outside of just staking as a service? Do you offer anything else?
Yes, we do. So because we also like have some smart contract developers in the team. In the past, we've built some decentralized applications on some networks, like a yield farming platform, a no-loss staking lottery that works a bit like pull together, but with staking interests, everything decentralized via smart contracts. But I mean, these projects didn't get much traction, and probably in the future we'll launch other projects or improve on those ones. Our core business is really staking, and we offer like some value-added services on top of this one. So we built some APIs that institutional investors can use to track their holdings, their yield, their rewards. We're building a dashboard that goes with that. We have like a very dedicated support. We provide, so that's for the community. We provide a lot of content and education materials. And for more like institutional customers, we provide a lot of guidance, research, presentation materials, anything to help them like navigate the risks, rewards, advantages, and cons of staking a potential coin within their organization, and how to integrate it with their custodian provider. So we have like a lot of custom solution. We're also able to deploy dedicated nodes that can be operated under another brand than ours for large customers willing to have their own node or have like a preferential some different terms. That's yeah, all the services that we offer. And we offer Oracle services too, actually, which is not staking, but still infrastructure related. We run Oracle on Terramoni and soon on Chainlink, hopefully, where we're looking to potentially launch this month our Oracle service.
Nice, yeah, that seems quite natural for a service like yours. And then, like, what are your general like business goals for the coming year, or like what are you focusing on outside of like launching on more protocols and then like spinning up Oracle service and other things and like everything that you just mentioned? What are you focusing on, yeah, in general, and also like looking into like the, let's say like next 5 years or something? What's the vision for you guys, for your team, for your business?
Well, we really want to offer like one of the best staking experience out there and differentiate ourselves as much as we can in terms of products and customer experience, to go like far beyond like just uptime and governance and community education. So I think our goal within the next 5 years is really to become one or the go-to provider in the European market, because that kind of where we're mostly based. And yeah, that means launching on new protocols, as you said. That means developing more value-added products too. And we want to increase the size of our team, build our brand, build our product team, build just further like grow the team, grow the services, offer like better services to our existing customers, and we want to offer like a very custom service in a way, so that you can stake any coins with us, and we're always around to kind of help you navigate like whatever you need in terms of like risk or applications that you'd like to see for yourself on that cryptocurrency.
Yeah, excited to see the progression you guys make over the next 5 years, making a staking experience seamless for the user. And so to kind of wrap up the questions here, more general question related to layer one blockchains. So do you think the market for layer one blockchains is saturated where it currently stands, or will there be more new layer ones that come out and are able to actually gain traction as well?
That's a good question. I think it's approaching saturation in the way that, I don't know, as a user myself, I'm very happy with the options out there right now. I'm super happy when I use Ethereum for things that are worth using Ethereum because it's a bit expensive. I'm a happy Solana user. I'm a happy Cosmos ecosystem user, and I'm speaking on the personal level. Like, I'm very happy with the existing solutions out there, but then it seems to be that like the existing solutions currently sometimes don't cover all the use cases. Potentially, sometimes on the business side, is that going to be for layer one or layer twos? I'm not sure, but very often we see like more protocols emerging. Sometimes it's about like IoT related. So I don't use any IoT application, so I'm not able to say, okay, is this blockchain that already exists good for IoT, or is that one that is being pitched potentially better? But there seems to be like a few business cases that could, on which like other layer ones could be improved. And I see like people building around privacy too. That there's lots of protocols being built around this theme, especially for whether business or financial operations. It's very important to have some level of privacy. In the healthcare space, I haven't seen much applications for blockchains in that space yet, so probably we'll need a new layer one, or probably a layer two. But yeah, there starts to be some saturation on layer ones. Even like, I think VCs are starting to invest much more into layer twos and dApps than in new layer ones, although they still invest in existing ones that sell them at a discount sometimes. But yeah, I mean, we will see, right? It's blockchain, so we're always surprised. It could be like some every 4 years, the top 20 is completely different, and there are new blockchains being built right now that are going to be extremely successful in the next years, and we just couldn't expect it.
Bookmark this video and replay it back 4 years from now in 2025, and we'll see, what's the top 20 for, layer one blockchains. It probably is going to look completely different than what we see now, right? So there's still room, like you're saying, for these edge case business cases to be addressed from layer one. So we'll see what happens. Definitely keep a watch. And so, Edward, how can people find more information about staking, or find more information about anything that you're working on? Where can they go?
Well, we have our website, stakin.com, where we list all the protocols that we support in both mainnet and testnet. So if you want to know what we're currently supporting, what we're exploring, what might be the next amazing proof of stake protocol, you can take a look at it. And otherwise, yeah, we have our Twitter account, on which sometimes we announce some giveaways too, in addition to like infrastructure protocol updates. There was one for Christmas, but there will be some more. And then of course, like our Discord and Telegram, where communities speak around anything that comes to their mind.
I'll definitely follow you on Twitter and reach out in your Telegram and Discord and see if we can get in on that next giveaway that you guys run. So stay tuned, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining us here today, Edward. It was really great having you and sharing all your insights from the perspective of a staking as a service provider, of course, Stakin being the company that you founded. So thanks again for coming. Merry Christmas, as always, and Happy New Year. And for everyone watching, check out previous episodes of Staking Mondays. You can find previous episodes on YouTube and Spotify. Also, be sure to read our SR20 index released recently. Please subscribe and like to our channel. Give this video a share. And as always, guys, happy staking.
Thank you, guys. Happy staking.
Thanks, guys.
Happy Christmas.
Happy staking.